What's up? How y'all doing out there tonight? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk, Real Men. Glad to be back with you. I hope everybody had a happy and safe holiday, a long weekend. I enjoyed it. In case you haven't noticed, there's some new surroundings behind me. So this is one of the reasons why I took a little bit of time off, holiday weekend, but I'm also in some new digs, so just trying to settle in, kind of get myself together. So new job, new place, but also brings along new problems. If you've been following along, knowing me very well, I talked about a little sissy that lived above me that stomped and bumped, and I was like to set his monkey ass on fire. But guess what, folks? Great place. 10 days in, I got a little tubbly fucker above me that I know I'm gonna be my enemy. So we're gonna see how this work out. Her and her dog, we're about to get into it, but let's get this thing popping. Let's bring in the host, my co-host from Memphis, Miss Tasha. What's going on, McMack?
What's going on, Black? How are you?
You see, yeah, I'm off work. I'm doing all right, but this little fat fucker above me is getting on my nerves.
Black, I told you from the beginning, the first floor living is not from you. Is not for you. It is not for you.
We're gonna have to see how this work out. What's going on, real time? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Well, I'm here now, and we're gonna make some enemies. Oh my God! Guess who is back in the house, y'all? Welcome back, Miss D. Hey, D, what's going on?
Guys.
What's good, girl? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys
All
doing?
right.
Hey,
All
Tasha.
right.
Hey, dear sir. How are you?
Good.
Glad to have you back, baby. We missed you. We missed
I
you.
miss you guys too.
You'll have to catch us up with what's been going on. But let me bring my brother in, brother from another mother, Mr. Kenny, all the way there in Texas. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, peoples? How you doing? Who was
that?
Who was that? Man, I thought somebody took you hostage. You was in government protection or something.
I'm back.
That's what's up. Good to see you. Good to see you guys as well.
Great to have you, my brother, as always. I know personally Lady D been up to big things, but I'm gonna let her fill you in when time is right. So we missed her. We're glad to have her back. So what are we talking about tonight, folks? Because I want to kind of jump into this. Hopefully we'll get some of our regulars to pop in as well to share their thoughts. But we got some stuff to cover because winter is coming, y'all. Fall is coming. The temperatures are starting to break. I don't know if you've been noticing, it's starting to get dark a little bit earlier than it used to be, even though it's not officially daylight savings time. And while we've been worried about the heat, that winter is coming. Now, when that cold weather break, what happens? It becomes boo season, snuggling season. So I decided I'm going to do a full series on sex. Now, we're not going to talk about sex just for the sake of talking about it. We're going to do it real talk style and hopefully bring some flavor, but context, but also some helpful hints. Now, full disclosure, I ain't getting any. I'm hoping that will change as the weather comes. But for those of you that are without getting it in there, I want to bring something good to you. So something hopefully you could use. And Tasha and I, we have this conversation behind the scenes. We ain't gave up hope. Right now, things are dire, but that when that weather gets a little cold, sometimes you lower your standards and you drag something in, every night. So we gonna see what happens. So we're gonna call this one. This is a series on sex, and tonight's episode is gonna be habits that can hurt your sex life. And of course, we'll put all of these under scrutiny. And we'll kind of examine from personal experience maybe what's happening or what has happened even in the past. And we'll talk about whether we agree with a lot of these. So let's jump right in here on the first one, because I thought it was interesting that it started out with binging on bad foods. And there is an article, just in case I can share if you want me to, but I'll kind of cover some of the highlights where it talks about the effect of binging on bad foods. It says that if you're a junk food junkie, filling your body with lots of refined carbs, simple sugars, and saturated and trans fat, this can slow your blood flow and affect how well you can perform during sex. So it talks about cutting out this type of food and going for things like fruits and veggies, plant-based proteins like nuts and beans, even tofu. A healthy eating plan will give you more energy for sex. We agree or disagree with this one? And what's been your experience with this?
I definitely agree with that. I think definitely for men it's that it definitely a lot of those saturated fats, all that stuff does affect your libido. And then like if you have to be on high blood pressure medicine, that can affect it as well. So yeah, definitely binge eating chips and salty food and a lot of fried food. That definitely can hurt your sex drive and your sex life. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to add something to that? Because I know I got something to say on this one.
I'll agree with Kenny. I think it does hurt. I mean, obviously, when especially men, you get bigger. Sometimes your libido decreases, things like that. So yeah, diet has a lot to do with it.
Tasha, what do you say on this one?
I agree, even all the way down to how you taste, what you excrete from your mucosal area. Since it's a Wednesday, we don't want to be nasty, okay?
Okay.
Things that you excrete, even it affects that as well. So.
Well, then you went there. It's Wednesday, but we on TFG Ratchet and TFG Uncut, so we can go all the way. I'm glad you brought that up because this actually is what made me think about this. It reminded me of an ex that I had, and I often talked about why the sex with her was so great was because she was so clean, and not just in her normal hygiene habits, but even in what she put in her body. This was the total antithesis of who I was. So I put a lot of junk shit in my body. This was somebody who doesn't smoke, didn't drink alcohol, always was drinking juice and drinking a glass of milk with her meals like she was a child and shit. And I remember thinking like, well, damn, you know what I'm saying? Little shit like that used to bother me kind of to a certain extent, drinking V8 and all that shit, and always pestering me. But the crazy part that you say that, Tasha, the end result was that even when she sweat, her sweat was clean, and obviously eating that pussy, it was some of the cleanest pussy that I ever ate. I must admit. And, here it is all these many years later, we can probably attribute that to her diet. Whereas, what you said, Brother Kenny, about, high blood pressure and diabetes, I'm suffering from that right now, and what's crazy is when I was younger and healthier and eating more fruit on the go, sex life was through the roof. But as I've settled in and have such bad eating habits with all the shit that they talked about that was bad, that's the shit that I love.
I think most people can say that.
I'm being so serious that chips, candy, ice cream, these are things that I love. Ironically, I don't drink sodas that much unless I'm drinking liquor, but junk food, oh God, yeah, that is just something that I put in my body, and I'm living proof and telling you, not only has it affected my health in terms of diabetes and stuff like that, sex life for sure. Damn right. That's why I got them little blue pills in the drawer. The dick will stand up. It just won't stay up as long as it used to. And so, need a little help. So I gotta say some things right here. Real Time says fasting helps. Kennard, have you seen me?
Yeah. And something else that definitely helps is exercise.
So
Mhm.
Exercise definitely helps a whole lot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that may actually that's on another list, but absolutely, Brother Kenny. And to that point, man, you know, when I was trying to get in a little bit of exercise, it really made a difference. All right, let's talk about the number two, too much salt. Now, so this goes hand in hand with what we just kind of talked about, but I'm going to share some specific information why this is particularly harmful for your sex life, because this is what we're covering. It says when salty foods are a regular part of your diet, you're more likely to have high blood pressure, which can lower your libido. Steer clear of prepackaged foods, which often have lots of sodium, and watch how much you add at the table. Instead, add flavor with herbs and spices. So this is kind of part and parcel for what we're talking about. But specifically, what do you guys think about this, about salt?
It's the silent killer, not only to your sex life, you know, for everything else that goes on in your body as well. I can honestly say that I do try to limit my salt intake, but you know, the execution is always, I mean, the thought is there, but the execution sometimes fall off. I do pretty good, but I mean, I don't use a lot of salt. I can honestly say that. I use like substitute seasoning salts, that type, you know, different type of herbs and stuff like that. I try to do that most of the time. So I don't really have to worry about salt, except for potato chips. That's my weakness.
Gotcha. That's my big one right there. I'm one that love salt, and I used to add salt, extra salt to things. I've done a much better job at that. I'm curious to ask women though. I know how it affects men. It talks about our libido. Is there an effect for women, particularly on your libido, from eating salty foods?
I think it's kind of the same with men, because women tend to have, you know, heart disease and high blood pressure too. So a lot of that goes hand in hand with the guys. The kind of the way, I guess, guys get an erection, you know, there's a lot of blood flow. So if you have high blood pressure, it affects that. And, you know, the same kind of for women. But yeah, I think it does.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you shared that with us. In case people don't know, Dee is a nurse. You know, she's registered nurse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and then she definitely knows
this
that.
is, you know, so I know you see a lot. You've seen a lot. You see and see a lot. So absolutely. Tasha, anything?
No, you know, I think nowadays it's even harder, you know, to kind of get away from a lot of foods that they unnecessarily put like a lot of sodium in. Like even just, you know, just going to the grocery store, things that are, you know, already like prepackaged and different things like that. Just turn it over and look at it sometimes. It just seems like now, even though they're adding more preservatives to food, I don't even think it's lasting like that anymore. You know, it seems to, you know, go, I don't know, it just, nothing tastes right anymore. It just don't taste like what it's supposed to. I don't know.
You're right. You know, things go a lot quicker. So the way food is processed now, something else is going on. And again, I think this is kind of what's led to especially a lot of health issues in the poor communities, because, you know, we reach for that prepackaged food first. You know, when you see with all the food stamps that you see a lot of times parents who have kids get, you know, and you look in their basket, you don't typically see fruits and veggies and, you know, food. You see all the prepackaged stuff, you know.
Well, I'll defend the food stamp moms, because I mean, fruits and vegetables tend to be a lot more expensive, you know, so it's easy to grab, you know, Lunchables that are like $1 and ramen noodles that are, you know, a quarter, 50 cents, than it is to grab a bag of apples that's going to be $5, especially when you're trying to stretch that money the whole month. So
you're right, and so that's a shame that it's cheaper, but worse on our health. You know,
right.
So you're absolutely right. Now, you know, so of course now there are a few nasty, filthy, no good bitches out there that wouldn't cook if you paid them, wouldn't buy best vegetables if you paid them, because, you know, you got where you got the good ones, you got the ones that'll spend the entire load of food stamps at the local store, you know, getting juices and snacks. So You know,
Well, you heard what happened, just to take like a little detour. You heard what happened in Ohio. People figured out how to use the food stamp card and transfer it to like Cash App. So they was cashing out the food stamps and they had suspended it like statewide. Like people were having a fit over it, but they had figured it out and now they're trying to correct the flaw in the system.
Oh my gosh.
so
Wow,
you
that's
got
crazy.
good. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that you
crazy.
be defended, and you got some bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right, so let's talk about this next one, guys. You know, as we go down the list, what about you stay stressed? What do you think the impact of stress is? This one to me, it was a big one. Again, I haven't read or looked at any of these. I saw the article, but this is new for me as well. It says constant strain and worry wears you out everywhere. When you flood your body with stress hormones for long periods of time, it hijacks your health and also tanks your desire to have sex. Try to figure out what's stressing you so you can think about the best ways to handle it. It's also a good idea to make time for regular stress relief. Walk in a park, yoga class, or laughing at your favorite comedy. This one is a big one for me. What do you guys think about stress?
Stress to me is the silent killer because a lot of times you subconsciously stress about stuff and you don't even realize that you're stressing out over it. Like it could just be on your mind, but maybe not like on the immediate front thing that you should be concerned about. That's my biggest thing is I do stress out about a lot of things. And and I think I have gotten better like with a lot of it because I can't directly control it, because I got control issues. So I know this. I've admitted it. For me, that's my biggest thing. I got to be in control.
I love
So,
it.
like for me, it's learning how to like let go. Like, okay, you can't really fix it right now. So you can't stress out over it. It's a lot easier said than done. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
And so to that point, how has stress in times affected your sex life?
Oh man, because I get like I don't know, and again maybe it's a woman thing, but I don't know. I get locked up here. I get so like I forget like what I'm doing because I'm thinking about something totally different, unrelated, and I just kind of like that. Then that's all that I think about. Then like I just I hyper focus on it.
Gotcha.
So.
Welcome, Hannah. How you doing, sweetheart?
Hey y'all.
Hey, what's
Hannah.
up, Hannah?
We're talking about things that can harm your sex life. This is a series I'm going to do over the next 4 weeks. So the one we're talking about now is too much stress. What's been your experience with too much stress affecting your sex life?
Well, lately I've been stressed out, so
with good reason. But now tell everybody you have a legitimate reason because what?
This wedding is next week.
Woo!
Oh wow!
Woo!
Hey.
That's what I'm thinking.
So I think we can understand that.
Right.
But I think like stress can be very harmful for your sex life, but sometimes sex can help you relieve your stress as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But
That's true.
But I will say that sex can actually damper because, like, if I'm really, really stressed out, like, I just really don't want to be bothered. Like, let me just get a bath, drink some wine, listen to some slow music, and regroup and get myself together. I don't think I'm worried about sex at this moment. Now, it can happen, but at that moment, I'm not worried. I just really need to get myself together and find some peace and calmness to relieve my stress.
I think that's what Tasha was kind of talking about. Yeah. Dr. Darcel or Kenny? What
I ain't seen in a while.
I know. Hey, girl. I would say for me, stress and anxiety and like depression, you really have to take care of your mental health because if there's things that are bothering you, like sex is the last thing on my mind, and it decreases my drive if I'm really stressed out about something. So,
absolutely, Brother Kenny.
Yeah, and I can say that, stress definitely is a big factor. I can honestly say from my experience, man, I do tend to stress about stuff. And and worry about stuff. So yeah, that definitely affects, especially the older I've gotten now too. It's kind of like, you know, that's kind of sometimes an afterthought. So I had to figure out a way to de-stress myself, and that's when I really started going to the gym. You know, that was my therapy, I guess you could say, my time to kind of just mentally unwind and mentally strengthen, as well as physically strengthen, but mentally strengthen myself, because you really got to concentrate when you're in the gym, because if you mess up, you could do something physically and hurt yourself if you're not, you know, doing your exercises correctly. So yeah, stress is definitely one. I mean, it affects me in a whole lot of ways. Definitely in the bedroom.
This is when I said this is the big one, and this is where I want to go. I was 21 years old and had to see a urologist because I couldn't perform. This was one of those times where, for me, I literally couldn't perform. I was newly married, physically fit in every possible way, but I was out of work. And long story short, watching my wife get up and go to work every day was demoralizing to me as a man, and I didn't feel like I was doing my role, and I literally couldn't perform in the bedroom because even though I found her attractive, she was young, fit, you can bounce a quarter off her ass. She had the ass of a 10-year-old boy. I promise you.
That's
what?
That's not a good analogy.
Wait a minute. What?
Yes, it is. When you think about it, when you think about a 10-year-old boy's ass and how tight. No, I'm not gay, anything like that. Let that go over your head, but let that sink in.
Cancel.
We're gonna be there with Tiffany and them. You better stop.
All right, Aries Spears. All right.
So let me finish my point, though. I was definitely attracted to her, but I actually could not. Y'all are killing me. I could not perform. Later on, when you think about it, you go like, okay, it's a fucked up way to say it, but he had a. Okay.
Anyway.
I don't know how you gonna back out of that one, brother. That one is out here in the internet universe forever.
When you think about a boy when he's 10 years old, and anyway, we're gonna leave it alone. I'm standing by it, though. But anyway. Y'all make me forget my whole point. But long story short, I had to see a urologist. And I was like, you got to give me something. And the doctor was like, you stressed. He asked me the questions and everything. And literally until I found work. But Kenny, you talked about getting older, and it's crazy because, Hannah, you said about how sex can relieve stress. When I was going through my period of hoeing, and I was out there hoeing, I used sex to get rid of stress. When I went through the same period of being out of work, and my house was in foreclosure at one point, and every day I'm worried about, losing my home, and you know what I did to relieve that kind of stress? I fucked a bunch of indiscriminate women. I didn't care, nameless, faithless hoes. Whether they had teeth or not, it didn't matter, because that was the way that I relieved my stress, But as I've gotten older, stress affects me in such a way now where when you talk about your desire, it's weird because, and Tasha, you said about sometimes you don't even know you're stressed. You tell yourself, I recently went through a period of being out of work, unexpectedly. And of course I got bills like everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And so on the surface, I was like, I got this. I'm not gonna worry about it. But you know what? Behind the scenes, I was quietly stressed. I wasn't sleeping very well, and so, like you said, sex is the last thing was on my mind. As I've gotten older. So stress to me, it is a killer. It is a killer.
Can I say this too?
Sure.
One thing that I've noticed, like a lot of times, like with men, is that you can tell them that you're stressed, and that's the first thing that they want to jump to is, well, you just need some dick. That's not the answer to everything. I just want to just be clear. That's not the answer to everything, okay? Sometimes I got real problems, and your damn dick ain't gonna do nothing to help it, okay? Y'all keep just adding to the level. I just want to just throw that out there. So
I agree. I agree. All right, we're gonna go to another one. That one kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, well, yeah, because of the train conductor. You the one took that one off the rails.
Blame it on yourself.
I'm standing by that one. What's going on, Mr. TFG himself? He says, the real estate insider says, I see a stranger on the panel. LOL, just kidding. Good to see you back. D, glad to see you back. Absolutely. All right. What about skipping foreplay? How do you think skipping foreplay can harm your sex life? Again, I'm reading this for the first time. Science backs it up. Building up to sex can make it better. In one survey of almost 8,700 people, both men and women said sex lasted longer when they included more types of stimulation beforehand. What do you guys think about this one? Go ahead, Dean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, for me, foreplay isn't always necessary. Like, I'm ready out the gate.
I knew he was gonna say that. I know a lot of women who say that it's not necessary. Right. I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear from y'all.
I mean, to me, like, intimacy starts like when you wake up. So if you're doing all those little things in the day, by the time we ready to get into it, I'm ready. So I mean, all that extra stuff, you ain't got to even do all that.
Okay, so to be fair, what are the little things that you mean that's doing throughout the day?
Just helping around the house. Every time he passes you, he just brushes up against you, kissing your neck, kissing you, things like that. Just little things, that you would do.
Consider that? But you wouldn't consider that foreplay? No,
I wouldn't consider that foreplay because that's something, you kind of do every day anyway. But yeah.
That's fair. Ladies, I want to hear you on this one.
I would say for me, so foreplay is not always needed because if you want a quickie, you don't have to worry about foreplay or anything. Mm-hmm. Of course, foreplay will make it last longer because you're leading up to the moment. However, no, I don't know who they were surveying, but everybody is not having foreplay every time you have sex. Like, let's be real. If you want some right then and now, we ain't got time for the kissing. Let's get down with the get down. Right. Like, come on. So I don't know who they were surveying. I don't know the age group.
It wasn't us.
But stuff is off.
And it doesn't say.
Now, I'm not saying I don't like it. However, it is not a requirement all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm learning from this. Is the beautiful part about this show. I learn so much. Tasha, before you go, the Real Estate Insider says some women get bothered by those little things because they know what we planning.
Bothered?
I'm doing the planning, so
don't bother me.
Or could it be that they're bothered because you do it so infrequently that there's no pattern there? So then you only do it when you want something. So then you're not doing it because you want to do it. You're doing it because
you want some draw.
On it. That's why.
You got an ulterior motive.
Very good point.
Like, put the damn shower curtain back. You ain't getting on tonight, and just get mad.
Very good point. Very good point. What do you say on this one, though, for you, Tasha? Real estate? I'm sorry, a foreplay or no?
No, it's not always necessary because let's be clear, sex doesn't always have to be a production. Some of the best sex that you can have is just in that moment. Also, non-sexual intimacy. Men don't get that. Sometimes we just want to walk around with our titties out and they just hang because we tired of putting them in a bra. You ain't got to go grabbing at it, okay? If I could take them off and hand them to you, I would. Just let me be sometimes, okay? Or getting out of the shower. Don't be lusting after me like that. I'm over here in my head. I'm trying to have a me time. Now you just aggravate me because now you're just ogling me. Just stop, okay? Just non-sexual intimacy sometimes. So
See, you women are so
Well, I
complicated,
like the
man.
old
Yeah,
way.
we
I
don't
know
we just don't get it. Because if we wasn't slapping you on your
Say
ass
it.
or trying to
Say
grab
it.
your titty,
I'm a
then
Say
you'd
it.
be like,
Say it.
what trick you out there hit?
Say it.
If we wasn't paying you no attention, then you'd be like, okay, he getting it from somewhere else.
but
So man, y'all
to be
confusing, man.
fair, you can pick up on her mood. So if you notice like her mood is off, maybe she's not in that playful mood. Maybe she's preoccupied with something and grabbing her titty or trying to suck her titty while she's cooking dinner. That ain't the right time.
Okay.
That ain't the right time.
That's why I love this show.
But
I love it.
wait, but you have to slap ass every time it passes.
Say that again.
I agree with Tasha to the extent you have to slap the ass every time it passes.
Okay.
Because I would be mad.
Okay. Oh,
No,
every time. Oh,
This
every
is what's
time.
I
Okay.
would be mad. You
This
see
is
this?
what's confusing. The real estate inside says such complication. Mad if we don't.
No, I get what Tasha said. Not all the time.
Yeah.
Like, do it because you want to, not just for some ass.
Men got to learn how to read the room. Read the room.
That's the whole thing. I see you. That's what I'm talking about. I see you stressed, and you come in with your dick out. Okay, that's not what I need right now. That's not what we need. No. Bring me a glass of wine. Hand me the remote. Rub my foot.
Rub my feet.
Not with your dick. Okay, just rub my foot with your hands. Okay.
Damn.
All right. Kenny, what do you say on this one about foreplay?
I ain't got that, bro. Because as a man, all we need for y'all to do foreplay for us is y'all grabbing our crotch. And we good. We ready to go. So you don't need that all the time. I think there is a misconception that women want that all the time. I mean, if y'all getting it in and y'all getting it in good, sometimes a woman don't need all that. So you just got, again, like the lady say, hey, you got to read the room and then know your partner. That's it.
I don't disagree with anything you ladies have said here. I'm learning. I promise you're still learning. And I agree with you, and maybe the male brain sometimes is single-minded, because Tasha, you don't want to hear this, but when titties come out, all common sense gonna leave the room at that point.
They revert back to children. They revert back to children and see titties.
So you need men. We're visual creatures, and they could be about to evict me, but if you pull your titties out, that goes on the back burner. I'm just.
So I have a question for men. Do y'all not want non-sexual intimacy as well?
So this is where I'm speaking for me. As I've aged, foreplay has become more important to me. As I've aged. In my younger years, I could care less. I honestly could care less. I was much more selfish about the act itself. But as I've aged, to your question, Tasha, it is important to me now. Now, is that because I don't have the choices that I used to have? Probably. I can't stand looking at my damn self in the mirror, so I need a little positive reinforcement my damn self. These are factors that come into play, that as I've aged. But foreplay, it definitely would make the sex better. I can even sit here and tell you the inception of this show stemmed from me wanting something different because I had too much of the quickies, that when you look up one day and like it was meaning nothing to me. And so I wanted to mean something at this stage that I would rather have no sex if it's not going to be good sex. That's where I'm at in my life. To this day, I've been in this apartment 10 days. I've had a couple of horny moments. But rather than comb them streets and go on the internet and find something quick, I would rather have something that has means something to it than rather have nothing if I can't get that.
Than just satisfying your flesh.
And that's where I'm at, and since I don't jack off, I'm just shit out of luck. So but I tell you, I just found out in the email. This is a little side note. What do they call it when they give you some of your money back? Your deposits you put on your old apartment. I got a lump sum coming. Christmas is coming. I might get that artificial woman.
Oh boy!
Before you move on, let Kenny answer the question. If he, for non-sexual intimacy, is that something you prefer?
That's very, yeah, I do actually. That's really important for me at this point, because I really that makes me feel like that we kind of becoming closer. You know what I mean? It's putting us closer, just not just the physical intimacy, but also the mental and the spiritual intimacy. So the older I've gotten, I definitely value that and want that. I want sex too, but I kind of want probably the non-sexual intimacy a lot more, because I can probably get that more than just getting it in. I mean, so yeah, I definitely, that's very important to me.
So like in what ways, like if for you, like if a woman, were to display that towards you, what is like one of your favorite ways that a woman displays that towards you?
Oh dang, Tasha, that's a good question. It's been so long, I wouldn't even know.
You know what?
Well, while you thinking, I'm gonna jump in here. Real estate inside said he's learning as well. So Darcel, you talked about the man doing those little things for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what would do it for me.
Okay.
That's that very same thing. It's funny that you I didn't think about it, but since she's asking the question, that's actually what would do it for me. It doesn't have to be anything really, really big. And I'm not talking about women clean anyway. But you know what? That she asked that question. It could be something small as putting a note and making lunch for me, making me a sandwich on the way out there, and a cool little note, baby, I appreciate it. It could be something so small, I put gas in the car, something a little bit out of order. It could be something, since you say that, Tasha, that's non-sexual, that would make me think, about her all that day. And make me want to then plan to do something a little bit more romantic.
Right.
I never thought about it. Good question, Tasha.
That was a good question. And now that you answered it, Black, it could be, it's very something small. I don't need a lot of material things. That's never really moved me anyway. It could be just something like, if she know my favorite drink or whatever, she know I like to go maybe have watch the game at the bar. So I'm saying, hey baby, here's $25. Go have your couple of drinks and watch the game. That's just something like that. That's really to me, that would mean a whole lot to me, because that let me know that she's into me. She know what I like. So
great question, Tasha. Great question.
Yeah, great question.
And great question. Black Hollywood Report says, what are some examples of non-sexual intimacy for a fella? I'm gonna have to look that up and bring that to the table. But great question. All right, let's move on to, what about a person? What about when you're too busy? You're too busy. Now, we all know we lead busy lives. Hannah's praying for a wedding that's happening imminently. So that's an understatement But this says, when life gets hectic, sex can sometimes be the first thing kicked off your to-do list. But intimacy in your relationship should be a priority. Scheduling sex may sound like a buzzkill, but it can help you make sure you don't keep putting it off. So mark time on your calendars and stick to it. You'll feel more connected, which will lead to better bouts in bed. That's the point I want to hyper on. What do you guys think about scheduling sex? Actually scheduling sex.
I want to hear what the ladies got to say on this.
Absolutely not.
Ooh, go ahead.
No, I'm not scheduling sex. Now I will make time for sex because it is needed, and it's not. You're never too busy not to please yourself and your significant other. I don't care what you're doing. You can make time for that. I mean, that's just my opinion. But as far as putting you on the schedule, no, because I like spontaneous, like random sex. I'm gonna keep it as that. I'm not gonna get personal. Gonna put our business out there, but so I don't want it scheduled. So tomorrow, 8 p.m. Drop them drawers. No, I don't want that. Like,
I think that's kind of cool though. That's kind of
I don't want that though. I want I walk by, it happens.
I'm loving this because I think this is interesting.
I can't see myself looking at the calendar like, because now it feels like an obligation instead of something I want to do. Like I don't want to feel obligated. Monday, suck your dick. Tuesday, give you head. Wednesday, bend it over. Like I don't want that. I just want to be able to. I don't want to feel obligated to something that we both like.
Good point. I'm with
I don't want it to be an obligation.
And so you see it as an obligation if it was
it's on a calendar. Like, because I'm very scheduled with myself. Like, I have things all on my calendar. And when I tell you with the way I work and order my calendar, that's how I am. I know how I can get personally when I have to follow my calendar. Mm-hmm. And I know that I don't want my sex to feel like I'm a drill sergeant in there. Like, I don't want that to happen. Okay. So that's why, for me, I'm talking about me personally, I can't have it scheduled.
Okay. Let me, before I get to D, I see you got something to say. Let me read these couple of comments. Master Prophet Levi T said, I think it's exciting leading up to the shebang. He also said, you can damn near wet yourself just thinking about the schedule on tonight.
Yeah. Hey, Master Prophet T, that doggone profile picture. Come on.
I'm trying to tell you. What you say about scheduling sex, D?
I'm gonna say sometimes it's necessary because, like, we have 2 small children. They don't go to bed at the same time, and I was doing travel nursing, so I wasn't getting home until like 10 o'clock at night. So it's like, hey, when I get home, be ready. You know, it don't necessarily have to be written down on the calendar. It's just, you know, you kind of make a plan earlier in the day, like, hey, you know, tomorrow I'm off. You know, come home early, something like that. It don't have to be like a drill sergeant or whatever. I like spontaneous too, but sometimes depending on the situation and how busy you are, sometimes you do got to plan it out, and that's fine as long as I can get it. I'm good. It don't matter if it's planned or what. So.
I like that, and I love that you gave a real life analogy. You know, for parents. You know, with 2 small kids, that's realistic. Yeah. You know, Tasha, what about for you? How would you feel? I'm looking at your face is already going left.
It triggered my fight or flight. Like seriously, like I mean, it just sounds so just. I'm with Hannah on this. Like it just sounds just so like I have to do it. Wow. And I'm gonna say it like this: if I feel like it is something that I have to do, I'm not gonna enjoy it. It's gonna, you know, I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's just get it over with. It's one less thing I have to mark off my list, you know. And then also, what if something happens and you have to reschedule? Now I'm gonna feel rejected, or you should feel rejected. Like, damn, you didn't have enough time to have sex with me tonight, even though we already set this time aside. And you know, so for me, it just makes me feel weird inside. No, thank you. It's not for me.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Y'all ain't never had dick appointments? Like.
That's different. That's new dick. That's exciting dick. That ain't regular dick.
Wow.
That's different. Wow. A dick appointment is way different because there is no obligation to said person. So it is exciting because I may see this dick appointment could be set for Friday, and I may not see you again for a few weeks. But if it's my regular dick, oh, he gonna be over here anyway. Tuesday and Wednesdays is his days. Like, okay, get ready. It's different.
It's still scheduled. It's exciting because you
know. But that's not really scheduled.
I'm Kenny. I'm loving how they justify this.
Oh yeah. I'm just spectating.
I'm loving how, you know, the Master Prophet Levi T said the Bible speaks of this in Esther. You have to make yourself available. and he right.
That's like when you younger and you out. You know, sometimes when you want to leave the club, I might want some. That's not scheduled. It's just that have it out.
Have it out.
2:30.
Again, I'm learning a lot. What do you think about the idea of scheduling sex?
I just think it depends on the couple. I mean, sometimes you do get busy where, you know, that definitely becomes an afterthought. It's funny, I remember an episode on the Steve Harvey show when Cedric and Levita, they were both busy doing stuff, so they were saying, okay, they hadn't done it in a minute. So they said, oh,
right.
you good? You available Monday? She said, no, that's not good for me. She said, well, what about Tuesday at 7? He said, no, I got this and that. So when you start thinking about your schedules and doing that, then I think you have to figure out a way to make sure you smash it. So if you have to schedule it, I mean, schedule it. I mean, you know, that I don't see nothing wrong with that. Now, not all the time. Now, you definitely want to be spontaneous, but yeah, sometimes you have to say, all right, baby, 8:00 Wednesday night, drop them drawers because it's going down.
Y'all around here setting rolling appointments and shit. No, thank you. Like it's an annual doctor's visit. No, thank you.
I agree with Ken, and that's where I'm gonna go with it. Lamb Leverty said,
"Why not drop the drawers?"
You know, I'm serious. I like the way he put it. But Lamb Leverty said, I used to do this. I would be excited at work, waiting to go snap the nappy dugout. Ooh wee, you know.
Yeah.
And so I agree.
Scheduling.
That's the foreplay too, leading up to
me
that.
is how you look at it. While there is something to be said for spontaneity, nothing's gonna take the place of that. Tasha, I even agree with you on dick appointments. I get your logic.
I get it. Yeah.
But I want to tell you right now, in the words of Steve Harvey, you thinking like a man. Just so you know. And so don't be mad now, because that's the way men think. New pussy, we love new pussy, you know, and we want to get some strings. But there are instances in reality where life is just busy. And I can even sit here and tell you, not just even in marriage, being in relationships, I hate to say this, but you can fall into a rut. And that's going to lead to my next one here coming up too. And it may not have nothing to do with me not being attracted to you, but you can get to a point where your sex life settled into its routine. When you first meet the person, you like jackrabbits. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep your hands off each other. And then, of course, if you with somebody and she works, you work, and Darcel is right. What if there's kids, you know, and busy in the household? Now you're talking about getting kids ready for school and they want your undivided attention. I don't see anything wrong with Hannah. I'm not talking about schedule sex in the sense that put your leg here. I'm not talking about in that moment doing it that. But I am talking about simply, I wouldn't have a problem simply put it on the calendar. If that woman says to me, look, you've been going Saturday. Don't schedule nothing Saturday night. Whatever with your boys, whatever you think you want to do, I want to block out that time. It doesn't have to be so specific, but I would find it almost attractive if somebody said, well, block out, that's going to be just for us. And you know what? Even if you had kids, not little kids, but if you had big enough kids, say, look, go to bed. Don't get up. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're blocking that time off. I'm cool with that. You know, I'm cool with that.
Okay,
now, like Ma'am said, but then be ass naked to the door. And
not ass naked.
That's what it's for. That's what it's for.
It's two different things.
High heel shoes and a scarf around your neck. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Till the fire alarm go off, and then here she comes out.
Not the fire alarm. What are y'all doing?
I was like, what the hell? All the damn candles around. You have all the damn candles. You damn sure will burn up something. Now, this is leading me to where we were going. Sticking to the same, or I think this one is a no-brainer. How this can harm your sex life if you're sticking to the same old, because obviously sex can get stale. You get stuck in a rut. You might even have a routine and not even realize it. So it talks about mixing it up. Try new positions, have sex in a different place or at a different time that you wouldn't usually do it, and adding some alternatives like a massage or sex toys to your routine. I think this one is a no-brainer that the same old really could damage your sex life. Anybody disagree?
No, I agree with that.
I 100% agree.
Absolutely. I don't even think we're not gonna spend a lot of time on that one because I agree with even the suggestions. You know, I've been in that position. I'll say this real quick. My wife was 19, I was 21. She was a virgin. And while it was great to a certain extent having sex with a virgin, after a minute, you had somebody who grew up to where they only wanted to have sex at night. No, I'll take that. I'm not gonna tell a lie. Only in the bedroom though, but she didn't initially want me to see her getting undressed. She was subconscious about her body. It took about a good year of being around me before I could really bring the nasty out in her to where she could walk around, and then, wherever we was at. So, you had to in my life, I've nastied up a lot of women.
That you say this though, I was watching Fraternity Court the other night while I was taking my bubble bath. And I know it's really good. And there was a couple on there, and the wife, she basically, they were married. She cheated because she claims that she was unhappy with their sex life because for this same reason, that it was the same way every single time, damn near every single to the night of how it was scheduled. Because it was scheduled. And so she claims, she's like, I told him over and over again I wasn't happy with it because they did the same position every time. And so she felt like it was because he didn't, I don't know how long that she had told him for, but she said she felt that because he didn't listen to her, it was okay for her to go out and to sleep with somebody else.
Okay.
So, he argued adamantly that, I'm working hard for you because he was the only one working, paying the bills and everything. And I'm tired, from working all these hours and being the only one that's working and trying to provide for you. And then here you come.
Yeah.
No, we lost.
You can't switch your position because you're working?
She gonna pop back in, but I will add to that because I wasn't even thinking of this. She talked about the woman using it as an excuse to cheat. Me and my boy talk about this all the time. You absolutely, it's critical that you constantly add newness to the sex relationship, because you don't want to give that person an excuse to think they're missing something out there, and give them a reason to think that they need to go somewhere else. This goes for men and for women. There's a saying out there, we've all heard it, what you won't do, another woman will. Well, it goes for men too. We can sit here and think we knocking it out the park.
Yeah.
You ladies have taught us a lot in this little short episode about, how we need to read the room. I love that expression, Daracel, because I don't care how sexy you are and physically fit, if you're not reading the room, and you could be inadvertently giving your woman reasons to start looking elsewhere. He's not listening to me. Don't pay attention. He's not really satisfying my needs, because if all I'm thinking about is the physical part, yeah, I might be able to physically pick her up, throw her around, or whatever, blah, blah. But if she's not being satisfied in all those other areas, it definitely can lead to that wandering eye. So this one is, as I think about it, it's more, gotten a lot more into it than we think about it. Changing up the pace, and constantly keeping it fresh. Not letting it get stale. I'd like the idea of even continuing to date your woman, date your wife.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's top of the list.
Because sometimes once we get them, I ain't got to take her out no more. When we try to get the woman, we plan a little picnics in the apartment and cut up the fruit and shit and light the candles. But once you get her, it is crazy, but we do stop doing that.
Right.
Why is that though?
Because we get comfortable. I think
That's it. Yeah.
And it's the God's honest truth.
But you notice that y'all are allowed to get comfortable, but the moment we get comfortable, it's an uproar.
Yeah, you're right. That's the old double standard.
It really is. It really is. Destiny's Child, one of my their favorite songs is "Cater to You." I love the lyrics to that song because it kind of talks about not getting comfortable. When he come home and I roll over. I love that song for that reason, because you're right, Anna. It is a double standard, whereas we allow it to fall into the same old, you got me now, baby, We don't to do that. We still want you to have your hair done,
Right.
I can even think of, again, girlfriends I've had, and they come into bed and find out what the fuck you got on. You know what I'm saying?
looking like
I'm serious.
Looking like Harriet Tubman.
Dead winter.
Thank you.
But the expectation is, it's crazy. But anyway. In the interest of time,
no, that's a requirement.
One last thing.
I agree with that. You have to maintain a certain amount of, because y'all are visual. So I 100% agree.
Right.
We should also maintain a certain amount of sexiness, because nobody trying to roll over to Cleo from Set It Off every night. Like, let's be real.
I agree.
But also,
I do agree to keep it up.
I just want to point out for the men, toys are your teammates, not your competition. Okay.
Yes, Tasha.
Amen.
Your teammates.
Let the church say amen.
Don't be getting mad at that, Rose. Just add it into your act, okay? Just add it.
So let me say this.
Let me hold on. I got to get my pad and my pen. I got to write this stuff down.
Add that one down.
I love it. I love it.
The Rose is your teammate. All right. Got it. Exclamation point. Got it.
On this show, I gotta say, but I'm gonna say this: where it becomes competition, Tasha, for me, is if you play in that thing too much. I don't mind adding it in a little bit. I'm okay with adding a little bit, but when the side dish becomes the main dish, then we got a problem. And I know women that think it's sexy that every time you look up, something is stuffed in her fucking hole.
Okay, what?
And so now no, I don't want it. If a big cucumber's been in there all day and a carrot, and now you got to rolling around that bitch. What I'm doing up in there? You don't need me in there.
Oh shit!
It's
Lord.
different size toys.
And leave the damn cucumbers in the kitchen.
There you go.
Yeah, sound like she'd have made us. She'd have made us chef salad. She'd have made a Caesar salad or something.
I'm just saying,
Y'all acting up tonight.
It turned me off. It's a turn off if you playing it too much. So goodness. We run out of time. I want to run through really quickly the ones we missed. We're going to continue to do this as a series. I'll have a different topic next week, of course. But I just want to highlight some ones that we could have covered. It talked about things that can harm your sex life. You don't speak up. Talked about you dish your body. You drink too much. I really wanted to get to that one, but we didn't. You skimp on shut-eye, not enough sleep. You don't watch your waistline. That one was just for me. And then you light up smoking. So there are some really good ones in there that really highlight some bad habits and things that can really impede your sex life.
Is hygiene in there?
Hygiene was not in there.
I'm surprised hygiene wasn't in there.
Thank you.
That should be number one.
that gets an honorable mention. Look, wash your
Yeah.
Please.
WYA.
absolutely,
Immediately.
absolutely. But of course, we run out of time. In the last minute or two we got, I didn't say at the beginning of the program that this show is a part of the TFG TV studio and platform of shows. Once again, you can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. And again, as I'm getting myself back into rhythm in my new place, I plan on being more regular, more active. I've got a few things coming up, and this is the first beginning of a series on sex. I'm glad we got Lady D back. I hope we get you back on a regular basis. We missed my brother Bert tonight.
He's traveling. I'm sorry, I meant to tell you. He's on the road for work.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
I miss Sherry. So as the weather gets cold and we start being a little bit more inside, I think the conversation should get a little bit more fun, more lively. And so this show will get its groove back. But I want Brother Kenny, if he doesn't mind, to tell you where you can find us and where you can find just content that's just right now killing it on social media from TFG.
Most definitely. Obviously, you can find Black and Tasha right here, Real Talk for Real Men, on their YouTube channel, as well as TFG Ratchet and TFG Uncut on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and on Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time. They're going to always have some good topics, some good talk that we can, just giving it to you straight with no chaser. On Fridays and Sunday, Real Estate Insider, which is Lamar Falk. You can catch him at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central on Fridays. He goes live, and sometimes he has a guest, and he invites those on. And it's about celebrity homes. It's about a whole lot of things. So you can catch the Real Estate Insider, that guy right there. You can catch him on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. And then on Sundays, 10 p.m. Eastern at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Soon he's going live. And then you can catch some of his stuff all during the week on the Real Estate Insider channel on YouTube. Then on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, TFG Tonight with Brenton Haynes, who's the host. You can catch myself and Lee Black and Devin Devine on there. We're talking trending topics. We're talking politics, entertainment news, and sports. And we always have a lively conversation. You can catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on the TFG Tonight YouTube channel. Make sure you go check that out, like and subscribe. Then on Tuesday nights, you can catch me. I'm the sports guy, Kendrick, TFG Sports Media. You can catch me at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, giving it to you straight with no chasing. We got a lot to talk about now because the NFL football season kicks off tomorrow night with the Bills and the Rams, 8:20 p.m. Eastern on NBC. So we got some stuff to talk about, so come check me out. I'm gonna be recapping NFL games on Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Now on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, TFG wrap up. You can catch Lamar Falk and Charles Moore. They wrapping up whatever's been going on in the His and Hers TFG group on Facebook. They go through some of those questions, and believe me, if you're saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost, you might not want to watch that show. If you do, you better pray, and you better throw some blessed oil on your phone because they keep it raw and uncut. So you can catch them the wrap up with Lamar and Charles on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Then on Wednesdays, you can catch the fellas. Again, this is another, be careful, forgive us later, with Lamar Falk and Charles Moore and DJ Sullivan. Them boys go hard in there, giving it to you straight with no chaser. You can catch them at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central, on their channel on YouTube as well. And we're not all heathens. We do have some faith-based programming. Minister Val, you can catch her at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on Tuesday nights on Pearls and Wisdom on YouTube, her own YouTube channel. So, man, it's something for everybody. Y'all come support Black-owned business. Y'all come like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. So we got something for everybody. Come check us out.
You see why I asked him and said that he remembers all of that and got it down. It's remarkable, and then he's got that melodious voice to deliver it as well. But as you all see, it literally is something every day of the week. I will say this, Lamar Falk, I call him Barry Gordy. what he's doing and what's happening. Sometimes people, the swift don't always win the race. There's a lot of content out there with people doing it faster, this and that. What he's building from a slow burn, I believe, is sustainable. The lineup of talent, of shows and people he's got. But more than that, I want to say this about Lamar. He's a good person. I'm literally proud to be associated with him because this is just a classic act, the way he treats people. And for that reason, I tout him. We don't do that enough. Brother
Right.
Kenny said about supporting Black business, and my friend is going to be making an announcement hopefully soon, supporting Black business. And but I will say we have to support each other.
Right.
And again, I'm proud to say that I'm affiliated with TFG, and I'm proud to call him a friend. That's my brother. That's my brother. I love him. And so what he's doing, I pray that you support him because he's doing some big things. He's making some big changes. And I think he's about to explode in a way that we haven't seen on social media. So anyway, just want to take those few minutes to share that with you. But we're back, but we're still the same. So I'm going to be doing a couple of revamps here. Tasha and I, we do this, and we do this from out of love. We are not monetized. We've been doing this thing for going on 3 years. We show up because we love doing it. We love seeing you guys. So when I say D, we missed you, baby. We missed you. When I say that we miss Bert, we miss him. Y'all are family. Y'all are family.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you guys as well. So
when is Bert coming back, Hannah?
He should have been here 10 minutes ago.
It's going down and it's going down tonight, then. Because that miss me sex be on point right there, Jack. It's going down, boy.
I'm waiting.
Brother Bert don't know what he in for, but
Right,
God bless
he
him.
know.
But I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight. I love you. Great seeing you. You're a highlight of my Wednesday. And I know now I'm on the other side. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the days for the rest of the week. So I want you to have a fantastic rest of your week. And hey, we're going to keep doing this till the wheels fall off. As always, be good to each other. Stay safe out there and always keep it real. All right. God bless.
Peace.